Hi, welcome back to SaharaTV. My name is Rudolph Okonkwo. This is the Roundtable. This is a segment where we bring experts to come and help us understand the issues of today in Nigeria and Africa. We have two special guests today. One is Professor Niyi Osundare. He is one of the greatest living Nigerian poets alive today, and he made news this week when he gave a public lecture in Lagos where he declared that corruption is the commander-in-chief in Nigeria. We also have from Jos, Plateau State, a Nigerian investigative reporter, Prince Charles Dickson. He will tell us more about the situation in Jos, Plateau State. So, Professor Niyi Osundare, welcome to SaharaTV. Professor Niyi, welcome to SaharaTV. Hello. Okay, Professor Niyi Osundare, welcome to SaharaTV. Can you hear me? Prince Charles Dickson, can you hear me? Welcome to SaharaTV.
Yes, good afternoon from here. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, is that Professor Niyi? Hello? We seem to have difficulty hearing Professor Niyi Osundare. Professor, can you hear me?
I'm here.
Okay, you can hear me. That's good.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. So,
hello?
Yeah, hello. Yeah, we can hear you. Welcome to SaharaTV. Professor Niyi, welcome to SaharaTV.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I wonder if you can hear me because I'm trying to talk to you.
I can hear you.
Okay, very good, very good. So let me start with you, Professor Osundare. You gave a public lecture in Lagos this week, and you declared that corruption is the commander-in-chief in Nigeria. So who is the first? If corruption is the commander-in-chief in Nigeria, where does that leave the country? How do we retrieve back from this position?
Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Did you hear my question?
Hello?
Yeah. Prof, I can hear you. Did you hear my question?
Yes, I didn't hear the last part of your question.
Oh, okay. I'm saying your lecture, you gave a very well-received lecture about corruption in Nigeria. So I'm asking,
thank you. Yes.
Yeah. I'm asking, how do we go from today to a place where corruption is no longer the commander-in-chief in Nigeria?
Oh, your voice is fading. How do we do what?
How do we get to a place where corruption will no longer be the commander-in-chief in Nigeria?
Oh, okay. Well, it's a very complex issue indeed. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes. I believe that we can fight corruption to its standstill. People say it cannot be totally eliminated, maybe, but it is possible to really fight it to a standstill. And towards the end of the lecture, I tried to give a few hints. It is the people of Nigeria, the people of this country, that we really have to tell their rulers. This is the way we want to be ruled. I think the attitude of Nigerians to corruption is encouraging their rulers. I don't call the people who rule us at the moment leaders. They are no leaders. It's encouraging the rulers here to be more criminal, to be more corrupt. Because when they steal our funds, we do not raise an eyebrow. In fact, many of us envy their luck. Somebody.
Prof, I think we lost Prof. Professor Osundare, can you hear me? Okay, I think we lost him. We will try to reconnect with him. Let me go to Prince Charles. Can you hear me? Prince Charles Dickson, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Now, can you start by telling
I can hear
us
you.
what is the situation in Plateau State at the moment?
I think the situation on Plateau is pretty calm.
Okay.
Of course, by tomorrow it will be exactly 1 week since the whole killings have taken place. After a raining morning on the Plateau, it's very calm.
We interviewed. Okay, can you hear me still, Charles?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. We understand that there is a conference or a dialogue going on tomorrow on Monday in the government house in Jos, where all the stakeholders are coming together to discuss the conflict. Are you aware of that? And do you think that's a solution to part of what is the conflict going on over there in Plateau?
No, I didn't get the other part of the question.
I'm saying, are you aware of the dialogue that's going to happen there on Monday? And do you think that could lead to finding a solution to the problem in Plateau State?
Well, that's part of the window dressing that has been consistently the government on both sides. I think that would not necessarily bring about a solution, because the question would be, what is new about that particular gathering? These are the key issues. I think one of the problems is there has been a strong refusal to deal with the core issues of the crisis on the Plateau. That's what the problem is. They have consistently refused to look at the key issues.
What are the key issues?
Look, some of the key issues are that, let's look at it. Nigerians, native people of Plateau State, there have been several reports, white papers, blue papers, green papers, black papers, all sorts of papers. Why is it, on whose benefit, that there is a continuous refusal to making these reports public? These are the key questions. Of course, among those questions and issues that should be looked at as part of the solution to the Jos crisis or the Plateau crisis is the fact that there are deep-seated hatred between the political players, between the conflicting zones in the crisis. And so much so that a section of the state believe that the crisis has nothing to do with them. A section of the state also believe that the crisis has to do with them. So there is an agreement to this entire crisis on the Plateau, where people have taken stands and they have refused to move about the stand they've taken.
Okay, hold on there. Well, let me see if we have Prophet back. Professor Niyi Osundare, can you hear me? Hello, Prof? Prof, can you hear me? All right, I think we're having difficulties connecting to Prof. Let me continue to talk to Dickson while we try to fix our connection to Prof. Dickson, okay. So, do you think what do you think is the role of corruption and the general question about the structure of the country in the conflict going on in Plateau State?
Well, I'll say what a lot of people are running from. The corrupt tendency in the Plateau crisis has become so elevated. Look at it from the primary corruption. I'll tell you this, and Nigerians are there. The Plateau crisis.
Hello? Yeah, Prof. Yeah. Hold on, Charles. Yeah. See, we've been trying to talk to you. So, okay, now that we have you, Charles, please hold on that thought. Okay, I'll get back to that. Let me ask Prof, because he said that in the lecture that was called "Why We No Longer Blush," he said that I wanted to know, when was the last time we blushed, and are you not scared that a generation that do not know our war, a generation that are used to they're used to corruption, most of them, are you not scared about them coming into power? And how do you think they are going to be angry with corruption to the point that they're going to rise and challenge these people who are running the country?
Is that for me?
Yeah, that's for you, Prof.
Actually, during questions and commentary time, that is immediately after the lecture, a young man from one of our universities asked the one you just asked. In fact, he was saying that we older people have disappointed them, we have disappointed questioning where do we go from here. My answer was this. Not all Nigerian people are bad. In fact, Nigerians are bad. We are just unlucky that it's the criminals that have been finding their ways to power. I think as young people, you also have the chance to copy who you want to copy. There are good examples in this country that we copy. Corruption is everywhere, quite right. But there are still oases here and there in Nigeria. And I think that as young people, it's possible for you, for our young people to make up their minds. The reason the country is so bad for us is because corrupt rulers have done this to us. Therefore, we want to make the country better in our time, and we also want to make the country better for our own children. I did tell that young man, now we are people because of what we've done. I hope that in 50 years' time, in 20 years' time, in 30 years' time, younger generations will not be saying the same thing about your own generation. So this evil cycle has got to stop somewhere. It is true that many in our country today, the line between wrong and right is extremely thin, and our younger generation is being socialized into this kind of anarchy. It is extremely difficult, I know, but it is not impossible. I think that parents have a lot of role to play here. The school system will also have to be better. I remember in our days there used to be civics and history, and all those things are capable of helping too. And our society to make sure that crime gets punished. The reason crime is so rising in this country is that the criminal is the hero. Crime doesn't get punished, and virtue doesn't get rewarded. The harder you work, the poorer you become. And so it is a very, very difficult moral situation we have. But I would say that, and this is not something we want to leave to the religious group. No, this is a moral, this is an ethical, this is social.
Okay, Prof.
We have to make up their mind.
Yeah, Prof. Your poetry. You always talk about the poets that a poet cannot affect his audience without being comprehensible. As a public intellectual, do you think you can transform your society without really going there on the ground and jumping into the arena? What I mean is there any kind of situation where you see yourself going in for elected office or accepting a position where you will directly deal with, these issues rather than being an outsider and professing, ideas and solutions to these problems?
Oh, the political arena in Nigeria today is fire. It's hell fire. Which party am I going to join? I mean, one party may sound better than the other, but they all fish from the same pond. My own opinion, I have been asked this question time and time again. My own view about the situation in the country today is that it is actually better to be out of the so-called mainstream. It is better to be that outsider so that you'll be able to see better and so that you'll be able to comment more objectively and more thoughtfully about the situation in the country, and so that you can also retain a little bit of your integrity and your respect. The moment you jump into the fray with these people, you will get sullied along with them. The Nigerian situation at the moment, the Nigerian political situation is like a cesspool. It's not possible to be there without being punished one way or another. So pressure groups have always worked. And this is why, in fact, in my lecture, I'm saying that civil society in Nigeria should be stronger, should be more vociferous, and should be more positive in the things they do. Pressure groups work. It is not all the time that you work better from inside. It depends upon what the inside is like. Will I join? Is it the PDP I'm going to join, and so as to change things from inside? Or is it ACN? No. I had my eyes. Both of them are in front of my head. And I know, I want to be sure where I'm going. at the moment, it is better to remain with the moral opposition in this country and put this pressure on.
Okay, Prof, let's get Prince Charles involved in this discussion. Charles, you were talking about the people who basically are feeling they are not involved in this crisis in Plateau State before we cut it off. I want to ask you, because I believe that Nigeria, as it is today, is more like a failed nation that works for the people that failed the nation. How do you get those people who are probably benefiting from this crisis to come and be part of the dialogue to solve the problem?
Well, like Prof was just trying to say, a situation whereby it pays to actually be corrupt, there is reward for corruption, it becomes a Herculean tax to get people who are profiting from this crisis to be part of the solution of the crisis. You see, of course, you find out that for as a typical example, you take Plateau State. Plateau State in the last 12-15 years have actually raised what we call conflict entrepreneurs. When you say conflict entrepreneurs, these are corrupt entrepreneurs who are profiting from the system. As long as there's conflict on the plateau, as long as there's conflict in Nigeria, they profit from this conflict. I'll give you a classical example. The more committees you have, the more profit you make, the more corruption that breeds. In Port Harcourt, you're talking about people scooping flour out of abject poverty, out of ignorance. And one of the solutions, one of the solutions, Rudolph, how do you see the road in which the tanker drove was bad? That is fundamentally an issue. I mean, are you setting up what kind of program to achieve?
What are you proving?
Yeah, Prince, hold on. Let's hear from Prof. Let's hear what Prof is saying. Prof, you wanted to intervene.
Good point. Dickson, if I'm right, is making. Yes, what are you proving? We all know what has happened. It's just another earlier on about the authors of corruption in this country and the beneficiaries of corruption are extremely powerful. Because what happens is it's like an evil chain. First, you steal money, and then you become exceedingly rich, and with that, you begin to buy people's conscience, and later on you buy their votes, and later on you buy political power. And so what do? You multiply corruption. If we are going to fight corruption, I agree with my brother that it is not these people that we are going to ask to do it. Our salvation is not in the hands of the representatives. We have seen what they've been doing, Hembe Gate, the Elumelu Gate, and so on. Our responsibility, our future is not in the hands of the senators. These people who earn.
I think we lost Prof again. Okay, Prince Charles, please, can you continue with your point that you were making?
Yes, so at the end of the day, what we have is a situation where corruption seems to benefit the system. I was going along with Prof's position of a moral rejuvenation, a moral rebirth. But again, sadly, we found ourselves in a generation in which the examples they have to look up to have become a moral burden. A situation whereby, I mean,
hello?
For all...
Yeah, Prof.
Hello?
Yeah, Prof. Okay.
I'm sorry, this is part of the corruption we are talking about. Yes, this telephony thing is, of all African countries I've been to, Nigeria has the most expensive and the most inefficient. Some people have been bribed, some people have been compromised one way or another, and that's why we are having this very poor but expensive service. So as I was saying, just in a sentence or two, our salvation is not in the hands of the corrupt one. I ask this question all the time. When a coffee maker wakes up every morning, what prayer does he say? The coffee maker, you know, the people in power in this country today, the corrupt ones, are the coffee makers. They don't want a healthy country. It is we, the people of this country, that we have to say, this is the country we want, and this is the kind of country we want for our children.
Now, Prof, in your poem, Not My Business, you wrote something like, what business of mine is it, so long they don't take the yam from my sovereign mouth? There are a lot of people, like the middle class in Nigeria, who believe that they have the yam and they don't want, and as long as you're not taking it from their hands, that situation is good. How do we are basically saying that we are turning over this hope of changing the country to the very poor, people who are not benefiting from this system. And many of them are basically hoping for their turn to get to a place where they will benefit. So how do we say to people who are saying it's not my business? I think many more people are basically in that camp of saying it's not my business. How do we make it their business?
A long process of persuasion and on the side of people who already know. My reading of history has shown that the revolution never happens in a country where, that we carry all the people at the same time. No, it is usually a vanguard. It's usually a few people, who will be right in the forefront. Call them the moral conscience, call them the moral majority, call them whatever. It takes time to persuade people, especially against the system from which they are benefiting. We need a lot of optimism, I know. But one thing I also know is that this is not saying that the human being is essentially selfish or whatever, but there is some selfish edge to us. When it begins to hit us, that is when we know. Of all the demonstrations I have been seeing in this country, the one in January stood out. And it stood out because the removal of the so-called oil subsidy, it hit everybody at home. And all of a sudden people woke up. My God, why is this going to happen to me? Because you know what bread is going to cost on the, in the market. You know how much it's going to be for you to go to the hospital. The battle is coming home to the people of Nigeria. Our so-called complacent middle class is disappearing fast. And you have what we call corporate beggars in the streets now, well-dressed and so on. They don't usually carry, they are not fine handlers. They don't carry their bows. But they move very close to you and whisper something in your ear. Hey, brother, do you have 500 naira there? It's hitting home. That yam is disappearing from their hands. So it's a combination of things. One, the grueling force of the economic problem, the political problems themselves, and then a lot of persuasion. All the things that we write, all the things, the noises that we make, do have some impact. My view is that we must never lose hope. The kind of conscientization that you guys are doing on now this is
SaharaTV, yes, yes.
It's SaharaTV, that's right. Now there is Sahara Reporters. I am talking to you from Ibadan in Nigeria. You can't imagine how many Nigerians tune in to Sahara every day. In fact, that is where they get their news. And these ideas are speculated gradually. It will take time, but I believe that it is possible to change. It's really possible. Change is difficult, and it's usually slow, but it's going to happen.
Thank you, Prof. We have about 2 minutes left. Let me go back to Prince Charles. Charles, now, Plateau State, is there any chance of change anytime soon based on what you are seeing? Or is it going to be the final playground where all the conflicts in Nigeria are going to play out?
No, there will be change. Just like change, because you get to a point, it's like the analogy of the 2 rounds, having fought each other, be they Fulani, the Boko Haram. We're going to get to a situation where these rounds are forced to look at each other as a result of exhaustion, as a result of lack of fighting power anymore. The truth about it is that it gets to a point where people cannot make a headway anymore. And like we did say, we're in the era of not just the social media, we're in the era where there is just not the social media like I said, there is a social network, there is SaharaTV, there's a village, but there's a lot of people talking at the same time. And like Prof echoed, and I dare say I buy that agreement, there is a fast disappearing middle belt, which also, middle class, which also includes the fighting class. There are people who are saying, look, we will no longer be used in this conflict. There are people who are beginning to readjust where they are in this conflict. Things are really, really changing. NYC Buhari. The NYC as an institution is already under pressure of both corruption, which has been instigated by this same system. A situation whereby people are not comfortable to actually serve on the platform. People don't want to serve in Bauchi. People don't want to serve in Gombe. At the end of the day, you can't shift this to people to say, for example, Nasa or Benue State. So the system itself is getting to a situation where it will implode. People are going to begin to ask, do we need the NYC? Why do we need the NYC? What are the purposes of the NYC? The same applies to the conflict on the platform. To a large extent, we're going to start defining the key issues. Who is the Fulani man? Is the Fulani man a Muslim or a Christian? Who is the Bureau man? Why is the Bureau man? What does the government play in these conflicts? Why people have been given security contracts? There is somebody who supplies arms to both parties, both the government and the conflicting people. Who are these people? So we're gradually pushing each other to the edge. I think at the edge, people will be able to look at each other's face and be able to say, these are the key issues. But of course, when people say corruption, to a large extent, yes. But behind it, I agree with this saying that not every Nigerian is corrupt, and a large and sizable amount of Nigerians are actually on the side that do not actually patronize any form of corruption. But the truth about it is that when you look at yourself being pushed consistently to the wall as a result of one form of conflict or the other, in which you cannot put a definition to, because the painful part of it is like when you take the situation on the plateau.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah,
yes.
Sorry, Charles, let's round up. Prof, do you have a final words?
Very good point Charles is making there. Very, very good point. We're talking about change, the phenomenality of change. I was saying that change does take time, but it has to be consistent, and we have to be very rigorous about it, and we have to also be optimistic. There is also another side to change, to societal change, transformation or revolution. That is unpredictability. 3 years ago, the Save Nigeria group did not exist. The Save Nigeria group developed out impromptu. You know, it was a child of circumstance, as it were, because Nigeria was going through a terrible paralysis, and the country was going to self-destruct. And it took a pastor leading the Nigeria group, Udumaki, Pastor Bakari, and then joint action committee and so on. All these other people joined, and they marched on Abuja. When they first came, people thought they were joking, but they meant business. They made the right noises. It was they who strengthened the hands of the senators. Somehow they were able to tilt Nigeria from the brink. In that kind of action is the seed for the future. The people of this country really rising and taking their destiny in their own hands when they are being led by people they can trust, by people whose hands are not in the cesspool. Change is possible. It's just that it must take a lot of time, and we need a lot of education too. The sense that the corrupt politicians and businessmen and women use for dividing our people. That one is Yoruba, that one is Igbo, that's Birom, that's Hausa, Uroko, and so on. When they go in to steal our money, they don't steal on ethnic grounds, on the so-called tribal grounds. Our people, we have to wisen up. So the development of the mind is extremely important. We are all writers. This is it. It takes time. I say all the time. The French Revolution broke out in 1789. But the French Revolution didn't start in 1789. It started about 250 years earlier. You know, ideas are important. Extremely important. The politicians, our illiterate politicians, poo-poo ideas. Oh yeah, you people, now idea we go chop. Yes, ideas are important. And it is, people have to be persuaded one way or another. We can't coerce them. we can't evangelize them. We don't have such power, but we also have to believe that change is possible.
All right.
Pessimism is one of the enemies we have to fight.
Yeah. All right, Prof, thank you so much for joining us. And we hope when you return to the United States, you will also come back and we will talk when the phone will be better than we had today.
Oh, it's been a great pleasure, Rudolph.
Thank you.
Well, I don't know when you are going to be wrong, but somehow it is difficult to correct you when you are right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
I appreciate this, compatriot.
Thank
Please
you.
give my regards to Charles. Thank you.
I will. Thank you, sir, so much. Thank you, Charles. I think we lost Charles too, but thank you for joining us, Charles. So that has been our roundtable.